Okay. Thank you. Everybody sit. Okay. Good evening, all. Welcome to Town Board Meeting, September 12th, 2022. Please rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Hanlon.
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Here.
Councilman Fazio.
Here.
Councilman Niles.
Here.
Supervisor Molino.
Here. All right, we're going to start our meeting. We have a couple of people that are going to come and give us some presentation. We have Mike Gropoli. Right, okay, good. He's going to give us a quick idea of what we're trying to work with the Red Cross about using the building during emergencies and problems that we could have and how they can help us out to help people get food and work with us. So, Mike, you're on.
All right.
You
Hi.
got to speak into the mic, though. That's it. That's it.
All right. Hi. Thanks for having me tonight. Reason why I'm here is that I was requested to come up because the senior center was recommended to become a shelter site by the county emergency manager, Anne Marie. We had a team come out and met with you guys and surveyed the building, said that it is a suitable site. So I'm here to answer kind of any questions or talk about anything you'd like me to about what the next steps are.
What are the next steps?
All right, so the next, okay, great. So the next steps are, now that we've surveyed the site, we made sure it's accessible. So we do make sure there's like, anybody can come and use the site, either as a shelter site or for what's known as distribution of emergency supplies. So the next step is to sign an agreement and we'll get your contact information and that adds you to the shelter rolls for the county. So the next step, so the way it will actually work with activation is everything is optional with us. So we essentially have a long list of these are all the potential shelter sites in the area. And if a disaster happens, the county emergency manager or the town or will say, hey, would give me a call, say, hey, Mike, I'm the local disaster program manager for the Red Cross. Hey, we have an incident going on and we have the need to open up a shelter in this area. And so what we do then is we go to our list and we start calling down and saying, okay, so we generally start in the closest facility.
Great.
And so we cannot mandate a shelter open. So we call up and say, hey, it's Mike from the Red Cross. We have been requested to open up a shelter in your area. Would you be available and willing to be open as a shelter? And if the facility says yes, what we then do is we'll arrange a meeting point. We will bring our supplies, our people. So our volunteers will come in and run the shelter. We do an opening walkthrough to make sure that there's no damage, anything like that. Just kind of like if you're like renting an apartment or a house. And then we do an opening walkthrough and a closing walkthrough, because if there's any damage, we will make the damage right. We will pay for the repairs and stuff like that. And then we will open the doors to the public, provide, so we can provide cots, blankets, comfort items. So like it's called a comfort kit, which has like basic toiletries, like shampoo, soap, washcloth, razor, stuff like that. Really depending on the facility, like if there's a need, we could bring in shower trailers, we could bring in porta potties, to really depend on what the capacity is and what's going on too. But the facility kind of controls when and where we can use it. So like, for example, if I call up saying, hey, we have a disaster, we'd like to use your facility. You say, oh, no, we have a big event coming up in 2 days. Sorry, we can't. Okay, great. And then we just move on to the next one. So that's why we try and have a long list. So hopefully that way somebody will say, yes, we could open up the shelter in that location. Because we do understand that, their life goes on, right? So, so say you have a big event coming up and, or you can say, okay, you can use this for the next 2 days, but you have to be out by Friday. And then we will be out by Friday. So,
Okay.
so it's a very flexible, when, where, and you do control, and you can control kind of, when it's used as a disaster shelter, or say, hey, we can't do a shelter, but hey, we can use the parking lot to do a drive-through, where we can distribute. Like we have things called cleanup kits, which is a mop, bucket, broom, rake, shovels. You know, so there's a lot of options available, depending on what the situation is. Because also too, you never know, the facility itself might also be affected by the disaster. So like, you know, we've had, for example, in some of the flooding out in Hoosick Falls and Rensselaer County, our 3 main shelter sites there all got flooded out themselves. So, so that's why we like to have a long list. So that way we can, we have options. And also too, you know, we do work with, we could also offer some other programs too, like during what we call blue skies. So we do disaster preparedness programs, stuff like that, all free. So there's a lot we can offer, you know, kind of in this partnership. And again, you know, if there's any damage, we do pay for it. If you see a spike in the electric bill, or the heating costs, I know, stuff like that, you know, we will cover that. But you know, there's a process for that. That's in the agreement. It talks about that. And you know, stuff like waste disposal, like we could bring in our own dumpster. We could bring in our own, you know, so we do have some options with that. To really try and make this, you know, not try and be as least intrusive as possible. So,
What constitutes an actual disaster?
it
How
could be,
many?
it could be anything from, we respond to single family fires. Generally, we won't open up a shelter for that. But like, for example, in Troy, we had that 41 unit
Yeah.
apartment building. I was on scene for that. We were going to open up a shelter at Hudson Valley Community College, but everybody had a place to go except for 7 people. So we had the trailer in motion. We had the school said yes. We had the building open. We were doing our walkthrough, and then we just, we don't need it anymore, and we just shut it down and brought
Okay,
the trailer back to the office. And so it could be anything as small as a fire, all the way up to, you know, big ones that get, you know, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods. You know, it could be power outages. It could
Mhm.
be heat emergencies. You know, that's a big thing now. You know, it's usually not this warm in September, so we're supposed to have a warm September. So there's a lot of options available. And again, it is always a communication. So, you know, once you're on the rolls, hopefully we never have to call you, and until it comes up to about 5 years, then we reassess, we do another walkthrough, just to make sure everything's the same, and we'll reach out about every 6 months just to make sure the contact information is correct. And hopefully we never ever have to.
Do we already have a copy of that agreement?
I don't have one on, but I believe Terry gave you one already. Yeah. So, yeah, and then so once it's signed by the town, it'll come back to me, then we will review it, sign it, and then we will give you a signed copy back and a copy of your shelter survey. And then it gets entered into, it's called the National Shelter System. So it's actually a computer program that has all the shelters all over the country, what their capacities are, and kind of like, do they have a generator? Do they have this? You know, so that way we could make decisions on, like, for example, if we have to, you know, evacuate,
right.
you know, a large amount of people, we're going to need a larger shelter. So
How many do you figure you can get in here?
I'm not exactly sure offhand. What?
We can get 50 in here.
50.
They did, the gentleman I met with earlier, he measured everything and I can leave 50 cots.
Is that using this area also?
It's only the senior center.
Okay,
Yeah, and
thank you, Barb.
yeah, and so that's one of the things that the biggest shelter we've had open in, gonna knock on wood for this. I've been with the Red Cross for about 24 years. I've been in my position for only a year, but I've been here since 2009, and the largest shelter we ever had open was 58 people. So
We're in good shape then.
yes. Yeah, and then also too, that's for if it's an evacuation situation, we actually will we'll increase that number by a little bit because we understand it's an evacuation, and then once the evacuation's over, we will then kind of go back to that 50 capacity. Because during evacuation, we just want to make sure that everybody, if the water's rising or, the fire's, blowing through, we want to make sure everybody's safe. So, and then once then we'll sort out, we'll open up another shelter, or oftentimes some people can go home. So
And the one thing most people say right away, what's the cost? Explain that.
we cover the cost. So, like,
Our-
yeah,
Our facility is up to snuff. We
Yep.
don't have to invest anything.
Nope.
So accurate.
yep, that is.
Sounds like a win-win.
Yeah, so we cover so if you have a spike in your utilities, we will cover that. If it's just a normal amount of utility usage. And then also too, like if we have to bring in a dumpster, we'll bring in our own dumpster. We'll bring in our own, we could bring in our own resources. So that way we can just use the facility as is. Yeah, so there's no real, our shelter sites, we don't require any modification to. Just like, for example, if like we need to bring in a shower trailer because you only have one shower, we'll bring in a shower trailer at our cost. So, yeah, so we cover all that costs.
Any other questions, gentlemen? They were very thorough when they were in.
I think we ought to proceed.
So do I.
Great. All right, well, thank you. And if you have any other questions too, I'll leave my cards. And if you want to learn more, I'm always more than happy to talk about this. I'm one of the people.
Where are you out of, Mike?
So I'm based out of Albany,
Okay.
but I cover Albany, Schenectady, Washington, Warren, Saratoga, and Rensselaer counties. But I actually live up in this area in the summertime. And then, so I work out of Glens Falls office, and then, I live up in Brant Lake.
Good.
And then, I'm in Albany the rest of the year, and, but I also used to work out of national headquarters, so I'm the one who actually wrote a lot of the stuff, the policies and stuff, so.
Mike, thanks for coming in.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
And I
Yeah.
think during the meeting or towards when we read resolutions, we can probably adopt a resolution and pass it and, get ready for the winter.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks for
All
coming.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
The next one I have Pam Pettis.
Hi there. Has everybody had a chance to look over the information that Sam Zappa sent that Jean forwarded on about food trucks and what we'd like to do? This was actually an idea of Sam's. He contacted me about it. Of course, Corinth has done food trucks, Hague has done them. So because of not very many places to eat in this town, for the summertime, he thought of this idea. So we kind of just roughly, this is just a rough draft so far, on everything, and about how much it will cost. It's gonna cost probably $12,000 altogether because vans are not cheap. And you want to do a lot of advertising for this also, to get people. And, that's basically what we have. He has on here up to 8 food trucks, but I think we need to keep it a little bit smaller so that they do make some money. We want to make sure that they make money or they won't come back, The biggest question that we had when we were talking with Supervisor Molino is the permit. I mean, maybe we want to look at that structure because it's $550 for somebody out of town. Is that going to be worth it for the food trucks to come here for, 7 weeks? So that's one question that I have.
Pam, if they bought them individually, it'd be $50 a night though, right? Isn't it a one-day thing, which would only
Yeah, they
be
could do that.
$350, right? So
So
it'd be $200 less right there.
I don't know how much they charged like over to the factory. I'm not sure what they charge, but why I wanted to come tonight and Sam was gonna try to get on Zoom because he only lives here in the summer, was to see if this is something that you would want to go along with. And it's $12,000 out of the bed tax money. And, if you guys say, fine, you approve it, then we will do more investigating, but I didn't want to waste a lot of time if it wasn't something we want to do. So,
I think it's a great idea. I go around and then see what other towns are doing and we're behind, right? Absolutely.
Oh, I think we ought to proceed with it. Yes.
Is there a cost to us, Pam, for him to bring the trucks here? Is that included? Is there a fee in that 12 grand for he's gonna make what he makes and
right,
hopefully it's a lot.
they're just gonna make what they make for that night. So you want to make it worth it.
Yep.
And like, we'll see how much Brent charged. I don't know how much they just charge for people down there and whatnot. Maybe we'd want to look at eventually coming up with something for a special, special night or whatever. So that was my only concern with it. We want to do a 50-50. That would, we could, each night give it to like the food pantry, our scholarship fund, whatever. We can, organizations within the town, we can donate the money to.
Just a question, the 12,000 the town has to come up with, or the bed tax
Yes.
fund?
But
Yeah.
What does that cover?
Asshole.
The 12.
That would cover the music, the advertising. And, we really wouldn't have any other. I really don't see any other expenses we would have besides the advertising and bringing in the music for people, and 5 to 8. So if our concerts went like 6 to 8, then people could come eat a little bit, stay for the concert. So we would have more concerts.
Would the chamber handle all of it?
Yes. Sam is gonna help with the legwork with it. But yes,
For whatever it's worth, I've been to the one in Glens Falls and it's a nice evening.
it is.
The last time we went, we ate dinner and then we sat for an hour and listened to the music after we ate dinner. It's really a nice evening.
So I
Lot
was
of people.
thinking of a Wednesday, I know that one's Thursday. So Wednesday
think-
night, does
I
that,
think Brant Lake is Friday nights.
Corinth was
Thursday.
Thursday. So for Wednesdays, does a Wednesday sound all right?
Well,
Yeah.
I
don't see why not.
I mean, Tuesday, you're kind of competing with Stony Creek for their concerts and stuff, so you kind of got to be careful of that.
Is it every Wednesday evening? Is that what you would be doing?
Seven.
7 weeks, for 7 weeks we would do it,
Seven Wednesdays.
Wednesday
starting
night,
July 12th.
the fourth Wednesday is our planning board meeting. That's the only. I mean,
That doesn't-
it's a collection, it's a small collection of people that it would affect that couldn't participate.
Yeah,
Yeah, that wouldn't interfere too much. They'd have other weekends to try, other Wednesdays to try it.
Right.
so.
I think we could get a lot of people from, out of town to come to this, so.
I know people go on tour every night of the week. They go somewhere else and do it. So.
Yeah. So, I thought it was great. He wanted to do it this year, but we just didn't have enough time and didn't have all of our ducks in a row. So, as we go along, I can come to the board and report what we found. How much it's cost, and by the first of the year, I would say or so, we would know how much this is gonna be, because we have to work bands in a contract.
Hmm.
So if you don't by then, so.
So the board is up for it.
I am.
Let them move ahead on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we need to allocate a dollar amount, right? I mean, because you don't even know how much
No,
it's
I'm
gonna
just
be.
saying
Yeah, no,
approximate, yeah.
no.
So it depends on the bands, he was figuring, 1,000 or so a night, but you don't know. There's some of them that are cheaper, $400 or $500. I don't want to have all expensive bands. There's no need for that. And maybe it'd be nice to bring some of our local people into it too. Some of our local bands, highlight them.
Yeah.
So then just people out of town.
The local bands will bring in a lot of local people that know them. They'll bring more locals. It's a good idea. Yeah, I like it.
And like we've had nobody special. He has quite a following.
Yeah,
With
we're good.
him. Or it-
Elvis has a following.
Yeah, Elvis has a following. And for the chamber, we were gonna have Bobby Dick. He was sick. He was in the hospital, so we had to cancel his concert. So we only had the one concert this year. Really wasn't anything we could do about it. So
Was there
they-
a problem in regards to getting people for the
Yeah.
concerts? Because in years past, we've had them every Wednesday.
right,
Can give
well,
us-
the problem, yeah, is volunteers.
How many
With the
people you
concert.
got in your organization right now, Pam?
There's 5 of us that do everything.
There's only 5 left.
And now over the years, we've sent out, you know, like when we send out our membership application, would you like to volunteer? No, 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 you know, so maybe, I don't know. Can't remember that one woman's name, but I do have a contact person that I can probably get some help, you know, with these for. And, you know, he's got in here to pay somebody. We don't have to pay somebody, you know?
I'm sure Pam, if we could get Jamie to send an email blast out or put it on social media to say, hey, we're looking for volunteers, you're gonna get at least 2-3 people. So, you know, that
Right.
might be good enough to get you over the hump right there, right?
Mhm. And if she could do a lot of the, you know, advertising and the electronics or whatever part of it, that would be greatly appreciated for us.
Sure.
Um,
She's willing to do anything to help.
okay,
All right, Pam, thank you.
you're welcome. And just, you know, holiday strolls coming up for the chamber. We're gonna have a meeting hopefully this month on that. It's always the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So this year we'll kind of figure out if we want to use the actual Harmon House or not. And we didn't last year because of COVID. You know, this year everything looks good, but you don't know. So, and I'll be able to report more on that as we go along.
Thanks,
Any other
Bob.
questions?
That's
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Pam.
I'm sorry. Barbara?
Oh, I just forgot to mention about the bed tax money I have for the music. I included, or Lori included it, the information for occupancy tax for senior center for a music group that I had planned for before COVID. And now we're hoping to use it in December. So that just needs to be addressed.
It should be in your packet. All right, Barb, thank you. All right, we're gonna go move into the rest of our speak about, anybody have any comments on our resolutions or legislation only? And that we'll take on that before we read our resolutions. No comments, no questions on it? All right. How about out in? Nothing on Zoom? Okay, Lori, go ahead.
Resolution 137 of 2022, resolution to pay the bills of the 9th abstract of 2022 numbered and totaled as follows. General fund vouchers 577 to 639 and 682, $46,653.42. Highway fund vouchers 640 to 671, $125,892.71. SW1 vouchers 672 to 679, $7,975.28. SW2 vouchers 681, $20,639.54.
Make a motion.
Second it.
Or before we do, that 681 to 681, that's not a typo, is it?
It is.
No, it's one check.
It's just one check.
It's only
Okay.
one check.
Just want to make sure that we didn't
Yeah.
pass something that you couldn't.
No, it's only one check.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Carried. Resolution 138 of 2022, resolution to accept town board meeting minutes of August 8th, 2022 as presented.
Make a motion.
I haven't seen them.
They're in your packet.
I haven't read it yet.
Okay. You guys want to table? it?
I'll second it.
We'll take a roll call vote then.
Yeah. Councilman Hanlon,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Yes.
Councilman Fazio,
Yes.
Councilman Niles,
Abstain.
Supervisor Molino,
Yes.
Resolution 139 of 2022, resolution authorizing purchase of the dishwasher for the senior center. Whereas the dishwasher in the senior center is not working properly and cannot be repaired due to obsolete parts. And whereas the town sought and received 3 quotes for replacement dishwashers, now therefore it be resolved that the town board finds that the quote from Saratoga Restaurant Equipment Sales for the Hobart model number CUH-1 for a price of $4,685 is the lowest responsible bidder that meets the specifications required by the town, and that it is in the best interest of the town to accept said quote.
Make a motion.
Second.
Was that Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Mike.
Tim first and
Tim
Mike
first,
second.
then Mike.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Barb, what are we doing with the old one? Okay. It's not a trade door, is what I'm saying.
No.
It's busted. Okay.
Okay. Resolution 140 of 2022, resolution authorizing purchase of a radiator for the John Deere loader. Whereas the Highway Department's John Deere loader requires a new radiator, and whereas the purchase constitutes a sole source provider as the radiator is specific to the manufacturer, now therefore be it resolved that the town board finds that quote number 913700 from United Construction Forestry for a price of $2,151.78 is the lowest responsible bidder that meets the specifications required by the town, and that it is in the best interest of the town to accept said quote.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution 141 of 2022, resolution authorizing purchase of 6 plow blades. Whereas the Highway Department requires 6 new plow blades, and whereas the purchase constitutes a sole source provider as the plow blades are specific to the existing plows in use by the Highway Department. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board finds that quote number 8286 from Metal Plus Inc. for a price of $3,198 is the lowest responsible bidder that meets the specifications required by the town, and that it is in the best interest of the town to accept said quotes.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution 142 of 2022, resolution to authorize Arcadis to seek additional grant funding through Water District Income Survey. Resolved that in order to facilitate mandated water infrastructure projects, the town board has determined that it is in the best interest of the town to seek all available means of grant funding which require challenging the median household income of water district residents as determined through census data by engaging Arcadis to perform an income survey of actual water district residents.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. And we do have the envelopes. I ordered those for the mailing of the surveys. Resolution 143 of 2022, resolution to give notice to bidders that the town of Lake Luzerne will accept sealed bids for one 2022 or newer 3/4 ton pickup truck, whereas it has been determined that it is in the best interest of the town to give notice to bidders that the town of Lake Luzerne will accept bids for one 3/4 ton pickup. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board will give notice to bidders that the town will accept sealed bids at the town hall until, that should be 4 p.m. because that's when we close. On what
It's gonna
date?
be on the 12th because that's a Tuesday. Monday is a holiday.
Okay. on
We
the
didn't get to that
No,
part.
Tuesday's the 11th.
11th.
Tuesday's the 11th. Okay, Tuesday's the 11th.
Okay.
Is that, so it was the
Wouldn't you
11th.
want it the week before, so we can have it at our normal meeting?
Well,
Open
we
them?
can still have them there.
The normal meeting will be on the 11th on Tuesday.
That'll be it.
Okay.
CRB. We're just gonna move it from, we do that every year.
Okay,
This one is buildings and grounds.
Okay, so on October 11th, 2022, for 2022 or newer, it should be 3/4 ton
Yeah,
with dual rear wheel and high roof enclosed service body.
it's no,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
this is the.
This
water.
is the. This is the pickup truck for buildings and grounds we're talking.
Okay,
so take out,
Yes. That's for the water. I mean,
yeah,
for,
this isn't yours, right, Ron?
no,
Okay,
that's,
so take out dual rear wheel,
okay,
take out high roof and take that whole phrase
Okay.
out. Just
Okay,
end it
well,
with 3/4 ton.
okay.
I have already
Okay,
helped, gotten information.
yeah, I
from-
don't know why I didn't do that, so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but,
I have the specs written up, so, but we don't get that detailed in the resolution.
and be it further resolved that sealed bids will be opened publicly and read aloud at the next regular town board meeting on October
11.
11th at 7:10 PM.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution 144 of 2022, resolution to prepare bid specifications for public works project. Whereas it's been determined that it's in the best interest of the town to give notice to bidders that the town of Lake Luzerne will accept bids for injection grouting on the Lake Luzerne Dam. Now therefore it be resolved that the town board authorizes Chazen Engineering to prepare all necessary bid specifications, plans, maps, contracts, and documents for soliciting bids to perform the proposed work on the Lake Luzerne Dam.
make a motion.
Second. Can we have some discussion?
Yeah.
I thought we were all set up
Well, we-
at our last meeting.
We basically are, but we have to pass the resolution to do it.
You gotta pass a resolution to put it into
This
effect. We talked
resolution
about
says
it.
to prepare bid specifications.
Right.
We
So-
have, go ahead.
Yeah.
You explain.
There's we have the quote from DeBrino.
Yeah,
And so the quote that they provided was kind of an open-ended. It's an hourly rate and an estimated number of hours. And so there's the potential there that can exceed $35,000 for a public works project, which would require it to go out for a solicitation for bids. So what I'd like to do, and I reached out to Matt from LaBelle, correct, Gene? That's the engineer that was. overseeing it.
Arcadis.
No,
No,
It's different.
LaBelle or Labella.
the bell.
Oh, okay, yeah, the guys.
The jam.
Yep, yep, yep.
And so what I'd like him to do is have the scope of the project and review the scope of the project against what DeBrino prepared to see if the estimated hours here would be sufficient, or if it looks like it would go over the requirement for
He was pretty much open-ended.
right.
Yeah,
So-
and I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
you,
no,
Mike.
that's right.
I can kind of understand that. I don't like it. Sign of materials, I don't like it. I don't want a blank check, but we could put a not to exceed. you know?
That's what he's talking about, I think.
But how in heck are they gonna estimate the cost to do that? You know? But anyways,
Yeah, I guess the problem that you have, if you go with this and you have a not to exceed, and they're $34,000 into the project, and they need to exceed 35, your hands are tied.
Or we put it in regards to put a not to exceed price in there. And if it looks like it's gonna go over that, they can come back and we can then make another judgment call.
You would need to know, essentially, you need to know before you approve this, if there is, I would say, based on the engineer, who more or less prepares the scope of the work that needs to be done, if this has a likelihood of exceeding a $35,000 threshold based on prevailing wages, based on, the
the rates.
right. And so,
Material costs, everything else.
We're
And-
gonna,
and if he says,
we're
yeah,
gonna miss our window to do it this year.
And
What if we go out to bid?
We're gonna lose another month.
we don't necessarily have to, because if he gets back to me and says, no, it'll be, less than what they're quoting you. We can approve the DeBrino quote based on, the inquiries that supervisors already made. We can call a special meeting to propose it to keep it on track. But I'd rather make sure that you're complying with the, Public Works policy and not getting stuck. After DeBrino has started the project, realizing that now it's going to cost over $35,000 and we didn't publicly bid it, and we could have figured out that it would cost more than $35,000 if we had the engineer take a look at the scope and compare it to their quote.
Where are we at? Lori, you read it, right,
I
Lori?
have
Second.
First and second.
Mhm.
You can call the roll if you like.
I think that's the way to go.
Councilman Hanlon,
Yes.
Lewandowski,
Yes.
Councilman Fazio,
Yes.
Councilman Niles.
Yes,
Supervisor Merlino,
Yes. As soon as we get this in from it, we'll get it up to you.
you got to beat on
But
those guys to turn that over.
No, it's not gonna be in that, it's down in the 15,000, 14. So I'm pretty sure we'll be all right. We are under, threshold of getting it done by the end of October. So it's, we have to wait till next year. So. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
all set.
Go ahead.
Resolution 145 of 2022, resolution authorizing Supervisor Merlino to renew the lease with Warren County on behalf of Warren Hamilton County's Office of the Aging. Whereas the town of Lake Luzerne has an existing lease with Warren County to lease space in the town hall for the operation of a meal site on behalf of the Warren Hamilton County's Office of Aging. And whereas the lease will expire on December 31st, 2022, and whereas Warren County, on behalf of Warren Hamilton County's Office of the Aging, seek to renew the lease for another 5 years, and now therefore be it resolved, Supervisor Merlino is hereby authorized to take the necessary actions to renew and extend the lease agreement with Warren County on behalf of Warren Hamilton County's Office of the Aging for another 5 years.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Carried.
Just a note that, it's the same as the other 5 years. No changes.
Resolution 146 of 2022, resolution to appoint Councilman Fazio to the Ethics Committee. Resolved that Councilman Fazio is appointed to the town board as the town board representative to the town's Ethics Committee.
Make a motion.
I'd like to have this table so we can discuss this at a little future date.
Is that a motion? Is that the way that works?
Just table.
Well, there's a motion, neither needs a second.
But you can get a second.
I'll second it if I can.
So now I'll make a motion to table this further discussion at another time.
I'll second that.
So, there's a motion in the second on the
On the resolution.
resolution.
We've got a call roll on that.
Hold on.
So the first thing we do is vote on the table resolution, right?
Well, with the motion in the second, and then you can either have discussion and there's a motion to table it. And so, yeah, you vote on tabling it as part of the more or less a discussion on the resolution. So say the motion to table should be a roll call vote.
So do I have to do anything for the actual motion?
Not yet.
Okay.
So this is the motion to
To
table.
table, okay. Councilman Hanlon,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Councilman Fazio,
Yes.
Councilman Niles,
Yes.
Supervisor Molino.
Yes,
And then- are we done with that?
Yeah, so it's tabled.
Okay, resolution 147 of 2022, resolution to award bid for truck. This was for the highway department and we did not receive any bids.
We didn't get any bids
Nope.
No.
because Chevy and Ford aren't doing anything until,
like to rewrite the bid or we send them out. Now I'll reach out to more dealerships. The salesman at Warren Ford in Warrensburg told me that he wasn't authorized to bid anything until early October because of Ford changing stuff. Okay. Do you have any reason to believe that's true? I don't know.
well, isn't it Chevy was accepting
Yeah,
bids,
I
but they're
spoke to,
not looking at a truck until next October or something like that.
I spoke.
make some phone calls and find that out and then.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Then give me a buzz and we'll kind of corroborate, see who's telling us the truth and who's not.
Who do you know you talked to? I'd
Yeah,
like to make a motion.
I
to
don't
put
have it
this
with
on
me, but
hold.
I wrote it down.
well, I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion. We put resolution 147 on hold for further
Right.
information needed.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution number 148 of 2022, resolution to reschedule the regular town board October 10th meeting, whereas the regular town board meetings are scheduled for the second Monday of each month, and whereas the October 10th meeting falls on a holiday, it is in the best interest of the town board to reschedule the October regular town board meeting to, I think you guys said October
We
11th,
talked about it before.
October 11th,
October 11th.
7 PM.
that's the day after.
Yep.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make it.
Motion.
Second. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none carried.
Note that, Chris.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Okay, now I have to get out. Okay, resolution 149 of 2022, resolution to establish the standard workday and reporting requirements for elected and appointed officials. It's the same one you guys did last month. It was rejected again, so we have to resubmit it pursuant to the New York State retirement to include the records of activities, which was not included on the previous form. We got notification from Tiffany from New York State on Friday, the 9th, and she confirmed that the draft that we have showed her now it looks great. So this should be the last time you have to do that.
So there's no changes here, just more info.
No more info, we're just redoing it, yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, carried. And that's all I have for resolutions.
Okay, we're done with resolutions. How about reports? Councilman Hanlon,
I have nothing to report.
Councilman Lewandowski?
Not at the present time, other than I'd like to say on the information that Jim has provided in regards to the Airbnb situations or things of this. Nice job.
Thank you.
And I think that the information that's been collected, we should have a separate meeting on that and have it set up. Say for next Tuesday or next Monday at this time, 7 o'clock.
I'd like that. You know,
Yeah.
Get it over with and let's get it done. Let everybody that's involved in it know about it. And we can have a nice discussion. Move it along.
Should we
At 7 p.m.
Seven, you wanna make it,
Seven.
you wanna make it earlier than 6 or 7's okay?
7.
7.
7, that'll be the,
19.
talking a week from today, right?
19th.
19th. Do we want to,
Do we need a resolution?
for lack of a better word, do you want to publish that thing I put together? Or do you want to have a meeting and talk it before we publish it, so to speak?
I think we ought to look it all over, that everybody's got understanding. Make any corrections that we as a group feel,
Then we'll,
and then
then.
put it out.
Okay.
Okay, so that's Monday, the 19th at 7 p.m. Okay.
All right, that's all you have, Paul?
That's it, sir.
Councilman Fazio?
I have a report that Melissa sends me every month and I see it's in the folder. So did she copy everybody?
Yes,
Okay, so
she did.
it's a lot to read and I'm not gonna read the whole thing. So that's all I have at this time.
Thank you.
She's gonna need a resolution sooner rather than later on that. She did say that.
Yep.
So if you want, I can advertise the special meeting for the short-term rentals and any other business that may come before the board, so that if you have time to review it and make that resolution, maybe then,
That's good.
just a
Well-
suggestion.
I know.
Anything else, Mike?
No.
Councilman Niles?
Just a couple little updates. The CSLAP group has finished the seasonal monitoring of Lake Luzerne and submitted our last sampling last week. So in a couple months, we'll get a report on the status of the lake. Mike was able to join us during part of that, and I think it was an eye opener for Mike. The food pantry is getting a tremendous response from the community on the fundraising, so.
You don't have to ask me. No, I sent my check.
I did you send it? Tomorrow night, there's a technical advisory committee meeting on the master plan. And I'd like to say that the technical advisory committee about 10 days ago had a public meeting. And I roughly counted about 60 some people in the room. So I was really encouraged by the number of people. And even more importantly, I was really encouraged by the extremely constructive comments that were made. So the TAC tomorrow is going to put all that stuff in a blender and try to digest it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Highway Superintendent, Ron?
Today, we had another water leak on Lawrence Street. That is about the 5th repair that we have done on that line in the past 4 years. Keep that in mind. Eventually, that line's gonna have to be replaced.
You're saying the one in the Heights, Ron?
Huh?
4th in the Heights?
Fourth.
Where's the break?
Nice. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Oh, Lawrence,
Behind 9.
thank you.
So. 4 in the past 4 years. All I'm doing is putting Band-Aids on these lines. Eventually, we're gonna have a big problem. So keep that in mind. Other than that,
Hold on, Ron, just a second. Could you, should we start building a kitty to fix these lines? Is that a stupid suggestion? I mean, I'm not asking Ron. I guess I'm really asking the town attorney what our other councilmen think. I mean, should we start building up a reserve so that someday if we have to spend a couple $1,000,000?
sounds like a good idea.
It's
to
never a
me.
bad idea to save money, to save up.
I don't know. I keep hearing how bad our old system is, but I don't see anything being done about it. Well, that's a discussion. Is this working?
Ron, how much you think of that road, just for that road?
Just for that road?
Just an idea, yeah. Or get us an
Have to be
idea.
engineered.
Huh?
It would have to be engineered, so.
All right.
I mean, I heard stories last fall, I think it was, when our pumps went down. that some people were concerned that if the second pump went down and the water pressure dropped in some of those lines, we could have lines collapse. I heard that.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Was that alarmist or was,
It's an alarmist.
I don't know how
Okay.
true that is.
I don't know either,
I don't
We're
know.
not way off.
but I keep hearing about this old system and I don't see anything happening.
It's, the lines, look, they're ugly. They're old. You know, just,
Well, the last time, isn't it true, the last
we
time,
should start preparing now for
And-
years from now.
So I think probably what you are looking for, Jim, is getting an idea of what your pot should look like.
big,
Is it legal to do that?
Sure.
To start,
Yeah, I'd say, getting.
it has to be very
Those-
specific, I've heard.
Right, get,
Yeah.
a report,
Why wouldn't?
have the town engineer prepare a report as to, what a, a range would be, a ballpark. So you have something to shoot for.
No, I'm shooting my mouth off here. Is this a good idea or bad?
No, it's a good idea.
It's a good
Well, the
idea.
CARES Act.
It's never a bad idea to save money
That's all
for capital
infrastructure
projects.
Money,
big project.
where are we at with that?
We got some, but not. So just that, I have a report on something that I didn't get to you gentlemen because it came in Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. But go ahead and finish your.
the last time we got a bid on this whole thing was a number of years ago.
Yeah,
And to do, if I'm not mistaken, that included downtown, the firehouse, as far as up to Gailey Hill, I believe, and the Heights,
2.2 million.
was roughly $3 million,
so
And
about
now
how
they're-
long ago was that?
7 years ago,
Probably
8
double
years
now.
ago.
right?
And now they're
I
talking
would
just
triple, I
from,
would triple that.
well, they were talking the last time we got a price was not even doing the Heights. From basically 9N, just the village, okay, down to the firehouse. Okay, at 7 million.
Oh, yeah.
Cause there's gonna be some blasting when we get down in town.
It's all shells. It's all ledge.
So, and anyway.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, sure. All right. I have a new guy coming in, 26th, and I interviewed another guy today, good candidate. So I will be at full force for the winter.
Good.
Very good thing. So all our plow routes will be on time and in good shape. If everything works out good. Other than that, River Road is gonna be on schedule to get paved on the 27th. We got it ditched, we got culverts in, we got some brushing to do, and we'll be ready to go. So we're still trying to knock things out where we did the shoulders on Ivy. We're gonna try and get the shoulders done on Hawk Road, but it's gonna rain tomorrow, so we'll get them done on the next day. Thanks.
That's it, Ron. Thank you.
Well,
All right.
and, oh, one more thing.
It's not it.
I took the garbage truck.
Speak into the mic so everybody can hear.
Loud enough, aren't I?
Oh,
I took the garbage truck and dumped it myself. I recommend one of you board members go with me next time. Okay? Any volunteers?
If I'm off that day, I'll go.
You will?
I'll go. I played cow crap.
Okay.
Don't bother me.
If there's a day they need it dumped, and I'll take it, and I would love to have one of you board members go, so you can go through and see the process that
Our men go through
you are driving on top of a mountain
of
of
garbage.
garbage.
Yeah.
It was an experience, let me tell you, I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
One, I was amazed, and two, I thought I was gonna get stuck, and three, when they say they get top tires and stuff,
Well, you can see the
You get
damages
hot
that have been done to that truck over the course of just this year alone between tires, wire wrapped around the
yeah,
drive shafts,
Yeah.
cutting out
Brake lines.
hydraulic brake lines,
yeah,
and the list go on.
so.
And that's not even including probably twisting the frame on that truck at certain times.
there's trucks going in there that are $500,000. 3 times what ours are, but personally, I would pay the $20 more a ton to go over Hudson Falls. That's just me. But I would love to have a board member experience it. That's all I have. Thank you.
So I wear a crash helmet?
That's too
If you
expensive.
want to.
You get the one at the dump and let him drive.
Oh,
It's wear your buck boots when you have to get out.
yeah, hip waders, buddy.
Yeah, when you have to walk in it, that's the worst part. All right,
Sure, I could handle it.
thanks, Ron.
Yeah.
Karen,
Okay, you
You're up.
have my report in front of, I had supplied it to you by email. You also have it in your packet. I have nothing more to add to that, except that this is actually would be part of my September report rather than August, but it came in. It was received in the town hall on September 6th, an anonymous complaint about a property up on River Road. I just would like to tell you that I received a complaint earlier this summer on this same property. A lady called me on the phone, asked me to look at it. I did go and look at it. At that time, there is stuff on this property. There are more than one unlicensed vehicle on this property. I asked her to please send me a complaint in writing, as the zoning ordinance requires these complaints to come in, preferably by affidavit. I don't stick to the affidavit part, but I do want them in writing. She declined to do that because it becomes public record and can be foilable, did not want to do that. So I'm assuming that this anonymous letter is a follow-up to that complaint. I can again go and look at this property and send a letter to the property owner. However, as I've told you in the past, there are many things in my office that are not getting done because I don't have enough help. I don't have enough time. I'm not willing to give the town any more time than my part-time hours. And so by going on these calls that come in anonymously, it takes away from my getting my other work done. Last week, we had a zoning board of appeals meeting that went on for 3 hours. I now have to transcribe all those minutes for 3 hours worth of a meeting. I have my planning board meeting from the couple of weeks before that I have not even done. So I have work that I need to get done that is not getting done. I need someone to work on getting someone else in my office.
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't have get out.
It has been put out on the website.
I worked with Jamie last week and we updated the job postings. Put out a little more information, put out the approximate hours, salary, that kind of thing. Hoping that maybe that will generate, we don't, I don't know.
Even if for a while, we could just find somebody to take the meeting minutes would help a little bit. Even if they didn't want the part-time job, just come and to the planning board and zoning board meetings and take the notes and transcribe them.
We had talked in the past about doing that and paying someone $75
Yeah.
a meeting to do that. So I don't know if you want to put that back out on the website for now.
But there was also the fact, Karen, that you said that sometimes they'd have to do 3 to 5 hours of work at home after the meeting to transcribe it. And so that $75 becomes pretty watered down at that point in time. The 2
Yeah,
hour
but
meeting,
then-
5 hours at home.
One of the previous meetings was only about 20 minutes long. So it averages out.
And sometimes there's no meetings.
What about a temporary temp agency?
That's for you guys to work on and decide what to do.
It's a good idea.
Sometimes that's the best way to cultivate help. You get somebody.
Karen,
from a
would it
temp-
be?
Excuse
Oh,
me,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Excuse me. No, go ahead.
You get somebody from a temp agency to come in and they get their feet wet and then you wind up hiring them and they leave the temp agency and come to work as a full-time
I
employee. That
think
happens
part of
every
the
day.
issue is going to be the rate of pay that you're paying.
Well, the
but-
temp agency sets the rate.
Yeah. they do.
We just have
Yeah.
to pay what
Well,
they say.
someone can look into it if you want to do that. I'm just saying I need help. I'm not getting my work done. And things like this are the byproducts of it.
Sorry for interrupting you, Mike. Karen,
Yeah.
would it be worthwhile possibly of putting or getting information over to the county building?
I did that.
Huh?
I did that. I spoke to,
Wayne Lamothe,
no, next down. Van Ness,
oh, Bill Vaness.
no. It was a woman, female,
In the zone, in the codes office.
Yeah.
Oh, Tracy Vaness.
yeah, yeah. And I should call him again because the feeling I got from the conversation was she was in a hurry to hang up the phone. She was busy. I don't mean that negatively,
Mhm.
but I don't think it really got much attention. So I'll volunteer to call the county again.
Can I ask why you spoke with Tracy?
When I spoke to the first name you just said,
Wayne Lamothe.
Wayne, yeah, he gave me to her.
That's the building codes office that you were talking to, and the head of that office is Charles Wallace. So if you're gonna talk to them, you might want to reach out to him, but it's very different. Building codes is very different than zoning, but it's a start, certainly.
Yeah.
They might know of people that are looking for work.
Who's gonna contact the temp agency?
Is it one of us that can do it? or-
Karen, would you rather have one of us do it, or you would like to do it the temp page, because you could explain what you're looking for? I know you're busy, but that shouldn't take much more than 10 minutes, maybe.
All right, if that's what you'd like me to do.
It's easier for you to explain
Yeah,
what you
that's
need
right.
than us trying to explain what you need.
Well, that's a start, just to take some of the load off you, at
If
least.
it works, I'll reach out. That's fine.
All right, thank you.
I just,
If you want a tag team, I might be happy to come into your office and we'll call them together.
whatever, it would be fine.
Okay.
It's a start. It's going in a direction at least.
All right, anything else, Karen?
No,
Okay. Deputy Clerk,
I've given the board our monthly clerk report. I've also given everyone the list of important dates that go along with the budget process, and I've highlighted those dates. Jamie Clute from Warren County WIC called asking if it would be okay if they came back to the town hall on the last Friday of the month to have their WIC clinics. They have done it for quite a few years in the past, but with COVID, they had shut down. And they'd like to start coming back now as they're opening back up to in-person WIC appointments. And I believe, Mr. Crow, we should have a resolution if they wish to do that, right?
Yeah, I'd recommend it, that would get passed through a resolution.
I want to make a motion on
What is WIC?
WIC is, they take care
Women,
of food,
infants, and children.
Oh,
food kids.
A lot of people been, a lot of young
I'll
or
Make that motion.
underprivileged,
I
yeah.
don't know if we can
I'll-
pass it tonight, can we? It's gonna have to be put up for a certain amount of time for everybody to see and digest.
No, you can pass a resolution.
I'll second it.
Generated.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. There are a lot of FOIL requests. We have FOIL requests that are being worked on. One of which has more than 20 separate FOILs. So due to the volume, it's just taking some time to go through and do all the research. And I believe Cindy's been in touch with Mrs. Woodcock regarding some of that stuff. I'd like to ask the board to move into water board to discuss a water billing issue.
Your motion for that, moving the water.
I'll make it.
Got a
Second.
motion, got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're in,
Opposed?
we're in.
Okay. About a week ago, I discovered that there were some water bills that didn't get mailed out. So what I'd like to be able to do, Cindy and I discussed it, and I've talked to Mr. Crow about it, is if we send them out by tomorrow, which I have them ready to go, that would give the people a 30-day window to pay without penalty by October 15th, which keeps us in our collection period. In other words, we only collect till October 15th each year. So, I guess it's up to you guys. Possible resolution to waive the penalty for those certain accounts, and I have a separate accounting of those so that I know which ones they are.
Lori, how'd you figure out which ones didn't get mailed out?
Well, I was going through and trying to balance out and everything, and I actually found a stack that didn't get mailed that were in my folders.
Can I ask you, and I don't care if you answer for anybody, but was I one of them? Because I never got one.
No,
And
you
that was
were
one of my things I was gonna ask you
No,
about.
you
so
were not.
I didn't get one, really.
Yeah,
But anyways, I need a copy of it then. if you
Okay.
could, please, thank you.
I cannot email it to you.
All right,
tomorrow.
thank you.
So I will make a note of that.
So I'm understanding you right, Lori. I think we want to entertain a resolution that waives the penalty fee for those people because they never got a bill.
Right.
It's
which
our,
was-
it's our error, not theirs.
Right, it was,
Sure.
yeah.
I'll make a
It's
motion.
only fair that they get.
So Mike made a motion, I'll second it.
That'll be through October 15th.
Yes,
And if they get it in by October 15th,
right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Thank you. And now we need a motion to go back into regular.
Make a
board.
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Okay, so we rescheduled. Okay, that's all I have.
all right, I have very little here. On my note over here, I wanted to thank Ron for helping me out, building the grounds with the CDL driver. And that's how he got to drive the truck to the landfill and find out what these guys really go through. And I think you guys should hold it down one time, just take a ride down. It's horrible coming.
Call me anytime.
We got another part-time person back on the CDL down in the buildings and grounds, so I think we're gonna be all right for a while. Both trucks will be running. We've been picking up garbage with pickup trucks and dumps our 3/4 ton trucks because we didn't have CDL drivers to drive the garbage trucks. We did get a lot of complaints from people who didn't understand, but now when we explain it to them, why we want it wrapped in a basket. There's any loose garbage on a pickup truck that's flying out. So we got somebody that came back when he saw that problem and he wanted to help us out. So that's working out well. So I want to thank Ron, and there's a couple of weeks now, he's had a different guy there for 2 days a week and it's worked out well. I have another note. I got it from Kevin O'Brien. He wanted me to thank Ron and his crew for making Howell Road safer road to travel on. Very grateful. That was the note. So I'm letting you know that. The only other thing I have left on here, did everybody get a chance to read that report from that special attorney that you got sent about 4 or 5, maybe 3 weeks ago? I guess not. That special attorney on that letter that we got received.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, I read that. Yes,
You got it.
yes, yes.
I did
So
read
it
that.
looks like nothing's gonna happen because they refuse to come and meet with us.
The dead end.
So it's a dead end and
Close the file.
close the file, but it did cost us $2,700 in taxpayers' money to do that. All right, and the only other thing Barbara brought up about we have those bands coming in on in December 5th. When the last one we had in here, we had 160 people. I mean, they're great bands, great entertainment, and we're gonna do it at the senior center. So
What was that date?
December 5th. That costs $2,250 but I was gonna bring it up during like one of the meetings when we do our tax money, which we have for it. But I just want you to know we need it sooner. Is that why you've got it now? Okay, so then we'll bring it up when I do some out tax. Because we're gonna send out letters to everybody now to start sending us paperwork for our tax money. And that's all I have. I want to thank everybody.
Hey, Jane,
Wow.
Jane,
Yes.
I
Hello,
did
Gene.
have a piece of correspondence
Hey,
tonight.
Gene, can you hear me? This is Sam. I was just wondering,
This
did
is a
Gene bring
letter
up?
to the councilman. On Saturday, August 27th, a group of Fourth Lake community members collected litter from the section of 9N that passes through our area. We wish to thank Lori Holcomb and the Buildings and Grounds Department for lending us equipment that was needed to rid our community of garbage. We greatly appreciate their willingness to work with us on this communal effort to keep Lake Luzerne clean. We hope this will become a yearly event. Thank you, Patricia and Stanley Goldberg.
All right.
That's
Anything
all I
else?
have, yeah.
Anything else?
Hey, Gene, can you hear me? This
All
is
right,
Sam.
We'll open it to the public.
Hello.
Yep, yep. A what? Okay. Oh, that's Sam?
Yeah.
Probably from the food
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me.
We just have to wait until it changes the tape.
Okay.
Yeah, I left him a message, so I assume he'll be back to me. We'll clear it up. And then, if everything is in line, just we can have a resolution.
All right. All right, we'll take some questions from the, please come front to the microphone, state your name, address, and what you'd like to speak to the board about.
Good evening, Rich Moralia, 47 Circular Street, Lake Luzerne, New York. I'd like an update from the town board and probably from Ron about what the status of Circular Street paving is going to be. Back in May, the town began to excavate to put a new water line in. They hit ledge, and so far it's been sitting there.
Right.
Been sitting there in disrepair. It's like driving through downtown Ukraine right now. So can you give us an update?
Ron,
End of September. They will be here to blast. And we'll get that water line in and we'll get that road back to the way it should be.
Now, I do have some concerns about the blasting because I understand that there could be some damage to foundations and windows in the
Yeah,
neighboring
they-
houses.
They have, sure, they have insurance and they have big blasting mats that they put over the top, so. It's not like it lights on the ground. They have big mats they put over the top.
So you're saying the end of September, the road will be repaired?
Yeah, I'm on their schedule, so.
Okay, and so what's the timetable for repairs after the blasting's done?
As soon as they're done blasting, I'll dig it up, I'll have that water line in and then, and we'll get it done as soon as we can. You know, right now, it's a construction zone and all I can say is don't go that way, go the other way.
Well, it's easy for you to say when you live in another part of town, but
You know.
I live on that circle and I gotta drive that.
I know, it's a construction area. I can go up, I can smooth it out. If I need to.
Well, that would be appreciated if you smooth it out in the interim, yes. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Did you say somebody had their hand up?
Yeah,
Sam,
hello.
Would you like to speak?
Yes, please. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? I'm not sure I'm on Zoom. Can you hear me? Yeah, hello?
Is that him up in the corner? Sam, can you
Yeah.
hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't, you can't hear me, I guess. I'm I don't know how to do this.
All right,
It's
let's move
Zoom.
on. Anybody else
No.
in the audience have something they'd like to speak about? Come up to me, Mike.
I'm Dan Allen. I was here last month. I was wondering what the game plan is for Sherman Road. Are we gonna get it opened up or where they got it blocked off the town road?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't answer the question. There's notification that went out from the highway superintendent, but they have to follow certain statutory procedures for removing obstructions.
Okay, but we are going in a direction, is what you're
Right.
saying.
Yeah, but this is I guess, a highway superintendent jurisdiction. So, Ron makes the determinations
Okay.
in terms of what's
Okay, can I direct it to Ron then?
you sure can.
Ron, what's the game plan?
As soon as the light goes out, which.
Talking to the mic, please.
Which it went out. So it's 30 days, I believe, right, Mike?
Correct.
I believe. So it's 30 days. And that 30 days is up. If the objects are not moved, we will go up and we will move them.
Okay, just one quick question. Are you gonna move the objects to your turnaround spot or are you just moving them to where your blue paint is? Because I hear there's more objects plugging the turnaround spot. So they went beyond it more. I don't know whether, I haven't known personally, I just heard it. Are you going to where you turn around?
I'm just going to our blue mark where
Okay.
our 0.24 is.
Okay,
All right.
Yeah.
The day I went up there, they made the new road right there,
mm-hmm,
just past the gate.
yeah,
So I will take those rocks if they're not moved, and I will push them over to give us the right of way through.
okay,
All right.
yeah,
That's all I plan on doing.
okay. As long as.
You know, and I know,
I know.
after I leave there, something else is gonna come up.
How can the town enforce leaving them? The objects out of the road? Are you gonna,
I
what's
think
your game plan?
I think after that, if something comes back up, I think the town, probably myself, will have to call the cops. Because it's 0.24 is the town right away. So I think we're gonna have to pursue it as that's our property.
Okay.
That's what I think. So hopefully nothing goes back in the road after I leave.
Right. Right. Okay,
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Anyone else? Anyone else out there?
So the gate, will the gate be removed also?
It's blocking the road, it will be. If it's if it's a
If
2-4, if
across
it's,
the road, I will cut the chain and I will push it off to the side.
Okay,
I won't remove it or damage it,
right.
but
Not
I'll
like
make
the
sure I can get through.
Okay, so I know the Allens and others are the resolution stated that it was a private road for 871 feet. Which is probably gets us to where Danny Allen is talking about. I understand the town is saying they only have a right of way for like 600 and something feet. Is there something that we can do to make that full Sherman Road extension as it's designated for that footage to be an extension of the highway right of way so that we can get to our properties?
you
Is
presently,
your property past our blue mark in the tree?
It is.
right,
So the town's.
Where wise?
Yeah.
Turn around.
Mhm.
That's where it first starts, that's where my easement really saw, that's where we can get that far, we have no problem.
So is there some type of petition to make it a seasonal road or what we can do with the town to resolve this, fully?
I think that's a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
So you can dedicate the land, so you can essentially get the road up to, what would be some town highway standards.
So only from the 0.24 on?
Any road that you, or any area that you have control over. So if it's on your property, or if it's on, combined property, if all
Yeah,
the,
we don't. However, the Druins, Ricky Reno and their family, and then John and Francine and the Rileys all have property after ours. We have no problem with, allowing them, or even in writing, whatever has to be for them to travel, the southern portion of our property to get to theirs. But there is a footage in question from where the town highway right of way ends, and John Clearide's property is, and then the Haylets on the other side. So we're trying to see if there's something, as you hear everyone else talk about, the town would seemingly maintain or at least travel farther than what the highway right of way was, because it was difficult to just back it all the way out through the woods. So there's that footage. I don't know how much it is, 100
How
feet.
far is that, you think, bud?
It might be, I'm gonna guess if it's designated 871 feet and it's like 600, it might even be 200 feet. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would say it's probably from our blue mark from here to the 9M. It's not very far.
Make a statement as far as I've given
Can you
nobody.
name,
Get your
please?
name, please.
John Arcuri, residence. Well, I own property on 227 Ralph Road and 228 Ralph Road, which 228 Ralph Road's both sides of the road, which butts up the end of Sherman Road. I haven't given anybody permission to go through my property. Okay, this turns into a ball game for a long time. I started out being, kind of nice and everything. I've had threatening letters. I've had lawsuits and stuff. What I'd like to know is when you say 0.24 miles, are you coming off of Sherman?
No, coming off Ralph Road.
The beginning, right, of Ralph Road.
Yeah.
So basically you're 0.12 to the marks in your tree. Beyond that's my property. We've had a survey. In the survey, I'd like to ask a question to the town lawyer, because I've looked it up online. When a road is abandoned, okay, by the town or county or highway department, if that road goes through a person's property, that person ends up with that road. If there's a landowner on one side of the road and a landowner on the other side of the road, the property's in the middle of that road. Correct?
more or less.
Right, I owned property on both sides of that road. Now all of a sudden the survey says I'm at the middle of the road. There's a discrepancy there, number one. I haven't given anybody permission. Do you have any questions for me? And I'm not at this time, until things are straightened out with surveys and easements, nobody has a right to cross my property.
Where about it? Are you by the blue markers or before that, sir?
The blue, I didn't see,
There's
I'm,
true
well,
trees
if
up
the
there.
town, now, here's another question. Is the town gonna maintain that road? Does the town want to take over that road up to that certain point? You guys haven't made a decision yet. You're gonna, and other meetings that you've maintained it, you haven't maintained that road. You might have filled in a few potholes. Just because you go up to a turnaround spot, these people are trying to make that right on through. You can't do that. Can't do that legally. I'm tired of being threatened, okay? If I have to get representation, I will. And that's not a threat, it's a fact. The town needs to make a decision. What's going on? If you're either gonna maintain that road or it's abandoned in 1935. Okay, whatever. I mean, correct me. The town want that road up to those points? You want the road up to the points? I mean, maintain that road. Blacktop it. Put macadam up there, plow it. I'll give you permission only for the plow to go beyond, turn around and come back.
Okay, so you're actually telling us then where that tree with the blue markers, so to speak, that we're talking about,
Yeah,
okay, which is the .24 marker
from the beginning
of Ralph, off of Ralph Road up.
off of Ralph Road. I'm assuming it is. I haven't measured anything.
Right.
But I'm assuming it
The
is.
first 633.7 feet off Ralph Road is what's blacktop presently. So
Okay.
if you go up another 600 feet roughly, okay,
I own 975 feet of that road, and part of that 975 feet is in question.
okay.
Beyond the Hazelwood's property,
Beyond the Hazel's property,
right?
okay.
Starts where Mosier's Pin is.
That's on the left-hand side there.
Yep.
Okay,
I don't mean to come on hard, kind of, but enough's enough. Make a decision. Let's get this settled.
I believe at this present time, we're trying to get every fact and figures. I've done some searching myself in regards to that. I see some of the parcels up there, they're right away are off East River Drive.
Correct.
Okay, it says it in their deeds. Okay, and I'm still looking for information. Okay, to get a
Yep,
good
it's a
understanding
long
of everything.
process.
It
I
is.
mean,
Um,
Nobody can make a real.
we know this
decision
has been
tonight.
going on
I
for over a
understand
year. I believe some of the people presently are using the road off of East River Drive to get to their properties. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right next to the cemetery. How much? Huh?
What parcel?
Okay, I have not walked that part of
Just
the road.
hasn't- It hasn't been maintained. That's their easement, and it's never been maintained. That's what I've been hearing. I haven't done a whole lot of research because I'm only concerned about my property at this time. But I'm told from people who have done research that the easement is off near the cemetery someplace. Same, and that's a ditto here. Show me an easement that you have the right to come through that property.
Well, that's the, and I'll
I
speak
mean,
up.
let's
That's
not
what,
get in an
that's
argument.
what, that's
Hold
what
on.
we're stuck
We're not
with.
gonna get into an argument.
We don't want to
I
get
agree.
into,
Everybody is stating a fact and everybody will have time to speak.
right.
Correct.
But that's our problem here. There's,
I know.
and mine too. I have not seen anything that says X owns this or Y owns
Yep.
that, or Z owns this. It's all a conglomeration of nothing. And until we
Understood.
can get everybody to sit down and come up with a happy agreement, which we've
Right.
tried very hard, especially myself and a couple of the board members.
I don't know,
But
By the highway leading from the river to Ralph Mill Road. The highway, I am using the highway to travel to my parcel, as the Allens would like to use the highway. to travel to my parcel.
well, which highway are they talking about?
In
East River Drive?
It also references a highway. This is what-
Along the river.
From the river, East River Drive, all the way to Ralph Mill Road. It's in my deed, it's in the Hayward deed, it's in the Bruins deed. That is the highway that we are using. That's the
No.
same highway that surveyors use to say that is where our border is. That's why I don't have an easement. There is a highway that is off the edge of Sherman Road that goes to our parcel.
What does that have to do with the town?
It doesn't have to, but I'm answering the question about people going there. We've established in the last meeting that it is a private road, and from what I'm told by attorneys, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong, that even if it had ever been abandoned, I still have a right to access my parcel. Public might not have the access to go down those parcels, but private landowners that use that road. But there is no abandonment, because it was never a town road, and the town of the that it's a private road with a highway right away for a portion of it, but it still doesn't stop the fact that it's a continued highway from the river all the way to Ralph Road, and people have parcels on either side. I mean, I have an address of 54 Sherman Road Extension. It doesn't say an address off East River Drive. If it had, maybe I'd look for the easement. I don't have an easement because it was clear in my deed that I am off my highway.
And Warren County are the ones that issued us the address. As 59 and 54 and whatever, Sherman Road Extension. And who determines maintaining? If Ron should go in there once a year, isn't that classified as maintaining? Can we put one stone in it? Did the town maintain it? So if Ron's been going in there and turning around at the turnaround spot, or not Ron, we had 3 other retired superintendents here last meeting. And they all said the same thing, as far as we know, they go all the way through. Now, if we've been using it, the public's been using it, and the town highway department has been using it. Would you classify that as a town road? To whatever, no, I mean, there's town roads that don't have deeds, there's town roads that don't have measurements. This one just so happened to have so far, but we still go beyond that in terms of town equipment around, or actual hole, or occasionally do bits of that. But who determines what is maintained and what's not? Is it Ron? Ron goes in there when he feels he needs it, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
right, Ron?
yeah. I've gone in there and I've filled in ruts and stuff like that, so.
That means the town, I mean, the town is aware that it's a town road. So they are aware of it, because Ron is an elected official doing his job. So that means it doesn't need to have measurements, it doesn't need to have this or that. If the town is maintaining it and nobody stopped them.
For 30 years, I have owned that property.
It's
For
not
30
landlocked,
years.
never been stopped.
Okay, has anybody heard of Ralph Mill Road? I've never heard of it, so I don't know if it, is anybody on the board, you've been here longer than I have in Luzerne. Ralph Mill Road, I mean, I don't know.
That was Snyder Road before.
Trail, before that it was a stagecoach trail, and it was remnants of an old stagecoach.
It still comes down to one line. The highway department at the present time that I can find out, and maybe our lawyer can verify that, it's 0.24
From Ralph.
is from Ralph Road to where we end.
You must know, right? What do they need to do?
You're asking us, I think you're asking us a question that now comes into a civil situation. Okay, we don't own the property.
All right, all right, wait.
I'm
Let
done here,
you,
let
yeah.
them just move on.
I thank you very much.
You just gotta keep it under
That's
control.
what I pay taxes for. And when I had it surveyed, I lost 2 acres going to the center of the road. And I've been paying taxes on 55.53 acres for 18 years. Now on that side of the road, and now I've got like 52 point something. So. Right?
That's a different problem now. that
I know
just
it's a
came
different
up.
problem. Don't threaten me. Okay?
We're not threatening you.
No.
No.
Yeah, no, we understand. Did you hear any of that? I never heard any.
We're gonna adjourn this meeting if we don't talk one at a time.
It's not time to adjourn anyway.
It's abandoned, it
Okay.
goes to the landowner that owns it. So that's the owner land.
Guys,
People, this is a public meeting. It's not it's a venue for private arguments
Yeah.
with landowners.
Thank you.
Let's deal with that another way, okay?
All right. Your name, sir?
I'm Al Riley. I'm one of the people with Sherman Road. I'm not here to beat that dead horse. I think it's going far enough tonight as far as that goes. It's in litigation right now. We're filing motions for civil action with the Supreme Court, Warren County. And let the judge make a decision what's going to happen. The law says that any property owner who has used that property for a set period of time and has not been interfered with from using that property, the other property owners have no right to interfere and stop you from using it. And that being said, now it's up to the judge to decide whether or not it's going to be upheld.
No, that's.
as it should.
And that's where I'm going with that part of it. My next thing is, I sent Ron some information on your resolution 147. The state of New York has vehicle and equipment contracts in place And as a town and municipality, you can piggyback those contracts.
Please,
Guys,
You
Not
don't,
here.
you don't have to put bids out to buy equipment. You can go into those state contracts, the vehicle contracts. You can spec out whatever vehicle you want and order it from one of the dealers on that contract
Yeah.
at state price.
Isn't that called mini bid?
No,
Al?
no, that's
No.
it's a,
I apologize for not calling you back, but
that's right. That's
I
right.
Lost your.
And
phone
the other thing is that, I worked for the state. I retired from OGS after 36 years as the supervisor, of grounds operations and horticulture. And I started out as a motor equipment mechanic with them. So I know what I'm talking about. They also have, OGS has a surplus and a federal surplus program where you can go in and see what vehicles other state agencies are turning in and replacing with new equipment. And if there's anything in there you need, you can get it from them at no cost because it's with a municipality that's part of a state contract.
You know, and I'm going to agree 100% with you because 10, 15 years ago, when I started getting involved here, they used to send pamphlets out to say, come to, it was down Clifton Park or someplace down
Auctions.
there. But it's like, you know, you go up and it's an auction.
Well, those are public
Those are
auctions,
public
but you can go in prior to the auction.
Where
And
do
if
we
there's a
get the
piece of
information
equipment
on
you
that?
want, you just go into OGS, the state in your, it's ogs.ny.state.us. And go into the surplus property or go into the state vehicle contract section.
Because we're in dire need of a couple of trucks.
I know
Not
that.
new,
And
to
that's
be
why I
used,
sent Ron
but
the
we can't
information.
get 'em without
So
three
you
bids.
don't have to go out to bid. You don't have to do anything. You can go into those contracts, spec out what you want from that contract and order it.
Right.
And it's done.
But what I was told by dealers is that you're absolutely correct. It doesn't mean they have truck.
Yeah, but you're dealing with dealers here locally who are not part of the state contract.
This is state.
Some aren't, some aren't.
Yeah.
But the vehicles you're talking
You know,
about,
The last vehicle that I bought from that contract before I retired came from Syracuse from the Ford dealer there.
Yeah.
You know, wherever that contract is, you just order from that dealer and it's delivered within whatever period of time, depending on what you spec.
6 to 8 months is what I've been told.
No.
this is totally different. You're talking about, he's talking about a totally different way of
Different
getting
program,
vehicles,
too.
different program, state,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Our town attorney just sent me some information on state contract and I have been reading it.
What year? did
Doesn't
you
mean they
retire?
have trucks though.
What year
Big
did you
state.
retire?
Plenty of trucks,
2011.
trust me.
All right.
Can I get your phone number before you leave?
Thank you.
I got a CDL.
you want a job?
You're
Give-
not leaving.
Give Ron your phone number before you leave.
I can't get to my camp to live there. And on another note, a few years ago, the road was in pretty bad shape from your 0.24 from the Blue Tree onward.
Yeah, that's because you're a neighbor.
And yes, and Ron was kind enough to bring me in a couple loads of gravel. I rented a tractor from Ray Tennant down the end of the road. And I maintained the road and I've got pictures to show you from that blue spot where you guys end up past my place. And we've been maintaining that road. So it's not like the road isn't being used or it's being destroyed or it's being abused in any way. As a property owner, you know, it's over a year now that we haven't been able to get to our camp.
I've been here 22 years. We've always gone up in there.
Yeah.
Well,
And all of a sudden they have a hair and they want to block it up. I don't get it.
they're saying, their attorney sent me a letter saying that historically that road has been blocked over the years.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't
I've
for
got
20 something
I've
years.
got pictures of my vehicles and my kids and my grandkids on that place throughout the years showing that I was never stopped from going.
Yeah.
Now I'm stopped.
And I got another guy that's been here, working here 40 years and he's always gone up there.
Do the point before and then see what happens.
I mean, that's got to constitute for something.
Easement by necessity. they're saying it's a prospective easement is what we're looking for. Prospective easement means that you're trying to take the property or own the property. We want an easement by necessity, which gives us the right to cross that property, whether it's Mr. Curais, whether it's Hazlet, whether it's towns, or whether it's Joe Blow from Kokomo. I can't stop you. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You have it now.
They need that something that has to be checked before the town.
Sorry, I was kind of interrupted
I
when
need your phone
Akira
number
came
now.
up, but. So is there anything on our end of it that we can do to ask the town to get a little bit more involved? Because the lawsuit that the Rileys talk about, the Haylet's attorney is asking us to include the town as part of the lawsuit. So obviously the town would have to take a position of being on the plaintiff or the defendant. So I'm not sure how to proceed with that. I mean, you've got the paperwork from the Haylet's. I'm thinking you've reviewed their position of including Acuri and including Mosier. I mean, I would think we didn't have to include Mosier if at least the town made the argument that it's 0.124 and then it's past Mosier's property, but Acuri, Haylet and the town would be involved in the lawsuit, I guess. I'm not really sure why, but they gave you the paperwork. Did you review that?
I saw some paperwork, but I don't know what position the town would take other than what position the highway superintendent's already taken, which is that up to the 0.24 mark is town right of way that can't be obstructed.
Now, is there anything like if we were, so the 0.24 still creates a situation for us not being able to access our parcels. Now when I had inquired about, whether our parcels were considered landlocked, I was told no. So I'm not sure if the town has some type of ability to resolve this,
Yeah,
to
I don't
avoid.
think that the town does. I think that, through the litigation process that you're involved in, it sounds like from the 0.24 to whichever particular property or driveway or camp that you're looking to extend, that is potentially a prescriptive easement or an easement by necessity, or even potentially an express easement. I've heard, many different positions on that just this evening. So from the 0.24, I guess, is what's being decided in Supreme Court. And what Ron has stated in his position, if I understand it correctly, is from Ralph Road out 0.24 miles is a town right of way.
Right, so Acuri gave Ron permission to travel to turn around, which then oddly gives him permission to be on our property, but whatever, we don't care about that part. However, there are rocks there too, so I'm assuming that I don't know how he's gonna turn around if the rocks are beyond the 0.24.
If it's beyond the right of way, that's then if there's an agreement with a private landowner, that's, just a specific factual scenario. If Ron needs space beyond the right of way, he's able to take space beyond the right of way to be able to turn around or be able to maintain the road. So
Do those
okay.
trucks have reverse? Ron?
But what if, okay, so you're saying he can take whatever means is necessary, like without permission or with permission?
either way, Ron has the ability to maintain and to access the town's right of way. And so if that means he needs to carve out a turnaround, either he'll do that in agreement with the landowner, or he has the ability to do what's necessary to be able to access and maintain it.
So
And
you're
I think we're
Okay.
kind of, I can't be your attorney.
No, I understand that.
And so part of it is that, to the extent that Ron is prevented from accessing and maintaining the right of way, he has the statutory right to open it up. But beyond that, either he would get permission if necessary, or if that's the choice of the landowner.
Does
Or
he need permission? Because what I'm hearing from you is that the highway right away is the full 0.24, but then there's, say another 100 or 200 feet that he would need to get to in order to do the historical turnaround. But there are rocks that are beyond the 0.24.
I don't know that he necessarily needs to do the historical turnaround. He needs to be able to access it and maintain it. And if he can do that within the confines of what's currently there, then that's what he has the ability to do. If he can't turn a truck around, then he has the ability to proceed in either fashion, either with the agreement of the landowner to put the right of way to put the turnaround in a specific spot, or he can effect what he needs to do to be able to turn the trucks around.
But does that mean moving rocks that are beyond the?
It could.
Why's it gotta be so? Okay. And then can I direct it over here? Can you give me the information for the parcel that you said had an easement on East River Drive?
There is a couple of them, if you pull them up on Warren County.
Yeah, I've looked and I haven't been able to find them, so I was hoping that you could be a little bit more specific in that.
Trying to think how I got a hold of it.
I can give you a couple names of last names and you can maybe tell me.
Let me see, write your name down and a phone number that I can reach you by.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay. All right.
you need a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I got a piece of paper. Oh, you're gonna give her that little piece?
I know. We give it to him.
I thank you very much.
Are we ready to move on?
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. Eileen Hickey, 6th
hold on.
Avenue in the Heights.
Ma'am, can
Hold
you
just
just
a
wait for
second.
1 second?
Okay.
Right? I don't know. Kind of. Must be Miller time. Same.
Mic check 1, 2.
Oh, now he
Oh,
wants.
here it comes. Jeff, he's right here.
Sam, we can hear you. We're just in the middle of something right now.
Yeah, Rick will have it.
No, who's waiting for you?
I'm sorry, I apologize. I had to step out for a minute.
You want
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
to do
Okay.
Sam is on again and.
Okay, Sam, you want to try to speak to us again first? Can't get him. Sam, are you muted?
Okay, then,
Well, Eileen,
All right,
moving forward.
Eileen, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get this
Um,
meeting going.
I'm here to talk about Sullivan Road again. I had asked you, the attorney, to get a hold of me when he found out anything, but I haven't heard anything, so I went to see Karen and Melissa, and, they gave me some maps, and the maps show that the portion of the land goes all the way down to the water. There's also this Sullivan Road history showing that, a 1921 map shows it as Park Road, and it goes to the water. When it was the Shimmerhorn property in 1948, same thing. And it's maintained by the town. And also the sandy area, which they claim is a beach, looks actually to be the end of the road when you look at these maps that I got from the town. There's a right of way before the Barbara house, which Tony and Shannon DiCarlo own. And that house, the house that is in question is not taxed as waterfront. It's taxed as a view of the water. So they do not own waterfront property. So I'm just wondering when this is going to get resolved. Because there's a sign there that
Yeah,
says private beach.
So I'm not sure what you're asking to be resolved.
Well, apparently, what Karen told me from what you had told her was, let's see. Our little abstractor has looked into the maps and deeds and has not come up with anything that would establish that the town owns any land or has a right of access beyond the bounds of the travel portion of the road. But if you look at the maps, they all show that the road goes right over there to the right, which is the portion of land that I've been asking about. All these maps show that. So I don't know how. And they also show that that property owner, Tony DiCarlo and Shannon, do not own waterfront property. That piece of property
But
in
I
front of
guess
theirs.
I'm still asking, what's the issue that you're asking?
Well,
to be
because that's
resolved?
being used as a private beach. That section of land, the town owns it, but it's being used as a private beach. There's a sign on it that says private beach. It's being used as a private beach.
I guess I'd ask, any information that you have that it's owned by the town. Provide,
Well, all these maps show it. They show that the landowner does not own waterfront property, and the land, I've talked to him. He doesn't own waterfront. He doesn't, Melissa told me he does not get
okay,
taxed.
all
as
all that,
waterfront.
ma'am, all that we looked for was anything that was titled to the town.
Well, then somebody needs to figure out what that piece of property is, because he doesn't own it. According to what you said, you don't think the town owns it, so who owns it? And if nobody owns it, can everybody use it?
So I don't know who owns it, but what we searched for, what the title abstractor searched for was whether the town owned it. And the answer that we got from our title
Well, if
agency,
you look at all the town maps,
we did.
it got the
So
road
I
going
guess
right there.
I'm not certain that this is a matter for the town to get involved in. If there's a question about a piece of property that the town doesn't own, we don't have the jurisdiction to determine how it should be used.
But you don't know for sure that the town doesn't own it. It's always been.
It's not in,
according
it's
to
not in the
this, it's
public
part of
record.
the
So yeah,
road.
we do.
It's part of the road that the town, that was a fire lane. I've been up here 54 years. That was a fire lane. So that road went all the way down to the water to the right, and there's a beach section over.
So
And
for,
the homeowner that they said gave them permission to use it as a beach does not own waterfront property. So the town has to own that. It's part of the road. The road ends as macadam and turns into into sand. Yes, there's a tree growing there now. It's changed over time, but that road went all the way over to the right. Mike Siebert is the first house that's on the lake on that side. So I'm just wondering how it can be a private beach.
well, like I said, there's nothing in the title, the Warren County abstract of titles that indicates the town owns it. If the town had a right of way for highway purposes, then it was strictly for highway purposes. And so we don't have any indication that the town owns the property.
So if somebody drowns off that property, who's liable?
I can't tell you.
Well, somebody needs to know that. Because
If it's
that's,
private, ma'am, if it's private property,
it's
the
not
town doesn't
private
own.
property. The homeowner doesn't own it.
Okay.
He doesn't own
I'm
it.
not here to argue about it. I'm just saying
Well, it
the,
needs to
the
get
avenues that we
resolved.
have to research to determine if the town owns it indicates that the town does not own it. I can't go any further than that.
Well, how come the maps show that the town owns it?
We looked at the maps. The maps are not dispositive of who owns the property.
There's a right of way in front of Barbara's house, Tony DiCarlo's house.
I would suggest that you do a title search.
Oh, so I have to pay for that? I don't think that's fair. Why should I have to pay for something? I know that's town property. I know it is.
Then provide me the information. Like I said, the town has incurred the
Okay,
expense to
then
do
I
it.
want to know if you're saying it's not town property, it's not private property, who's responsible for it?
I didn't say that it's not private property. I said that we don't have any records that indicate that the town owns it.
Do you have any records that indicate it's private property?
We searched for what the town owns. Okay, and so I'm giving you the same answer to each different question that you have. The town doesn't own it, and that's where our
Neither
inquiry
does the
stops.
homeowner who lives right there.
Okay, I can't answer your question. then,
Okay,
ma'am. I'm
that's
sorry.
fine. Then the private property sign can come down, and if I want to swim off that piece of land like other people, I can do that.
I can't answer your questions, ma'am. I'm sorry.
But you can't, so you can't say no if you're telling me that the town
I'm
doesn't.
not going
own
to tell
it,
you to
and
trespass. We don't have the authority. If it's not town property, I
Well-
don't have the authority to tell you.
Don't you think it's important to find out who owns it? What if someone drowned off that piece of property? Who are they gonna sue?
Says they're gonna sue. Not the town, because the town doesn't know it.
I can't,
The town does.
Why would we need a right of way then if we owned it?
What's
Why
that?
would we need a right of way if we owned the property?
What do you mean a right of way?
A
You said
right
the
of way.
Town had a right of way. Why would we need a right of way if we owned the property?
I didn't say the town had a right of way.
Yes, you did.
I know I didn't. I never used the word right of way. I said the town owns the property. It shows on the map. The road goes like this to the right. There's the right of way. There's a right of way. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying. There's a right of way from Butler Road that comes down in front of Barbara DiCarlo's property. It's a right of way to the beach. It's not, it's on the map. Mr. Lewandowski, it's right on the map.
If you look,
And
may I speak?
sure, I'd love to hear you.
Okay. Pat Todd, who owns the house before Barbera. Okay, and the person that owns that property is,
Shannon and Tony.
it is not,
It's
they are in trust to it.
Yes, I know that. It's in a trust.
Okay, their mother is very much alive and I've talked to her this summer. Okay, which she got the property from her grandfather. Okay, that's how far back I go. Now, the piece of property that you're talking about, the right of way coming down from Butler Road down to Sylvan Road. The lady before Nancy's property that you're talking about, okay, owns up to that right of way, and she has another piece on the other side of that right of way. She owns the right of way.
But I'm not,
Okay.
I'm not talking about. the
Now,
right
that
of
is
way.
a sliver of a piece coming
Yes.
down to that road.
Right.
Also by your maps, if you look at it, the road stops at the white camp at Todd's house. It's got a gray piece going down. But by the town map and the GIS maps, it stops right at the end of Ed and Don Curvey.
It shows.
They rose.
Where is it?
They rose. They rose.
Yeah. Okay. And you'll see that the road is highlighted in a dark color and then a lighter color. Okay.
I don't have a colored map.
Well,
I
if
have-
you look on your GSI map system, it will show you the dark and the light colors. The road actually physically stops at the beginning of the Todd property.
So if you look at this map right here,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Here's Sullivan Road.
Here's the
Here's the
right.
right of way.
This is Pat's house. This is the right of way. This is Pat's property.
Right.
This is
Here's-
their property.
Right.
If you look on this town thing on the GSI, this road stops right there.
But look at this right here. Where does it go to?
Okay.
And they don't pay waterfront.
They
taxes.
have no idea who owns this property.
Well, then shouldn't the board want to find out who owns it for liability reasons? Because.
Why? If we don't own it,
Well, somebody does.
Well, then sue whoever owns it.
not our job to find out.
Well, who do you sue if something happens there?
Everybody
Let's
Said
find
so.
out.
Why you got to sue her? Who's assuming someone's gonna sue someone?
Well, somebody drowned, somebody
Okay.
has an accident.
They drown of their own accord.
I don't know, let's get to the bottom of it.
So if nobody, okay, so if nobody owns that, you're saying nobody, the town doesn't own it, nobody owns it, then anybody can use it.
Do whatever you like.
That's what I'm, okay. That's all I need to know then. So the private property, the private beach sign should come down because it's not a private beach. If the
You-
town doesn't own it and.
Somebody owns it, right?
Pardon me?
Somebody owns it then. According to what you're saying, somebody
I
owns it.
got one question.
So then, the thing is, if that's the case, Counselor Crowe just answered your question. The town does not own it. So. Yeah, some things take you to do your own legwork. If you can do a decert, that's the legwork you gotta, I don't
Well,
know.
I know that.
We don't know who owns it, right? Well, who owns it?
That's a good question.
Well, the town doesn't own it. That was your, we don't own it.
What's the reasoning behind this?
Well, I'm sure you know the reason, but nobody
No,
else,
I'd like to,
nobody else is allowed to go down there and put a boat or swim or put a
you
tube.
get a boat in there.
I'm
You put
sorry.
your boats in there.
Well,
Your
your boat
kayaks.
isn't there. You have to drag it down the street. But if you wanted to go swim there.
I would like
nobody's
to
allowed
know,
swim.
and I'd like it publicly known, what is your beef?
My beef is that there are people sit on that beach and swim and put their tubes in and go tubing. And it's not, and it says private beach and it's not a private beach. That's what I like to know.
The sign has been replaced, Stan, for over 60 years. Yes,
And there's a bench down there.
that area has been used by the campers on that road for over 60 years. And I've got proof of it.
Yes, and boats were down there for 60 years, but that didn't matter. So if that doesn't matter, then why should it matter? if
So
campers were-
I guess your complaint is this is all over because we moved the kayaks.
No, it's not all over that. It's partially over that because people used to swim at that beach, mostly your family. And you can say they weren't there, but I know they were. But now look at, I go down there, I kayak all the time.
Here's a gentleman that grew up in town. Did you come across?
I know, I remember when he was a little boy.
Did you come across and swim on the other side from Nick's Beach?
I swam where I wanted to.
Okay.
And I went around the Indian Trail too when I wanted to, and I
Well,
can't do
and
that
that
anymore.
covers full access to the internet, which you can't get on the memory.
Yeah, it's sad.
No, I.
Is this lady talking about the road that's next to Sylvan Road? That's not
Yeah.
highlighted.
If they can
Yes.
put tubes and kayaks and swim off of there, then I think other people should be able to also. I don't know who's talking there.
That's actually a town road that was actually moved to the right of Sylvan Road.
Who's this?
Who's speaking?
Who is speaking?
Samsung, whoever Samsung, I have a phone that's a Samsung that doesn't answer anything. Mine's Samsung also.
We can't get an answer from the gentleman? Well, then we gotta back away.
Let's go.
Let's
The
drop this
operator
right
can learn to
now. I
operate their
know
own
it's
equipment.
not these. Anybody else have any more comments in the audience?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who seconded that? Really, you guys
did.
all said it at once. Kind of hard to tell.